favorite anime of all time, go.
Attack on Titan.
Really?
That or Haikyuu. I used to like Sailor Moon, but now I like these ones more.
All right. I was just curious because today we're going to be talking about fan favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And because every anime fan has their favorite characters, the ones who make us cheer, cry, or sometimes even question our own morals.
Mm-hmm.
So we're breaking down our top anime characters of all time, discussing what makes them so iconic, from the cool good guys to the worst villains. So we're going to go into that, and let's get going.
Hey, we got a tale to tell where two hearts collide. In this anime spell, father and daughter sharing dreams in the world of Venga. Nothing's as it seems. We've had a half in this journey, side by side, laughs and adventures we won't hide. Join the ride in this anime tonight. We found a half shining bright.
Welcome to Weeb and a Half, the podcast where dad and daughter bond over anime, argue about everything from plot twists to favorite characters, and prove that watching anime together is actually the best kind of family time.
We're back, and like I said, we're going over our favorite characters this week. We were going to do Sign of Affection, and we will get to that, but we had spring break vacation, and it kind of put a damper on other things, so we're going to go ahead and do this and pick that up next week. So, Dexy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what makes a great anime character?
I mean, it kind of depends, because I like characters that have sad backstories that are really tragic, because it adds character to the character. But I also like it when they have a fun and extrovert personality and they don't really care. They just kind of run around being happy,
Like, who comes to mind when you think about stuff like that?
Well, I know Sasha can be serious, but she's known as Potato Girl because she just eats all the time. She doesn't really care. It's everyone's being serious and she's eating food.
But Vash the Stampede has a pretty dark past, and he's, known for leveling towns, but at the same time, he's just a goofy character.
Yeah.
And personality goes a long ways too, because you have some characters that are just, cool. And even in Death Note, you have Light, who was a character that, I hated him, but I enjoyed hating him because you wanted him to win, but you also didn't want him to win.
Mm-hmm. That makes no sense at all. I watch sports anime, so it's winning and losing. You can't really say I want them to win, but I don't want them to win. So it's just a win.
And what do you think some flawed characters are some of the ones that people love the most? Like the ones who have, their own set of issues and problems.
People that have tragic backstories and are always depressed, but people like them.
Mm-hmm.
Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto. And then I guess there's also Levi, because he has a pretty tragic backstory.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of that has to do with the character. They're more relatable when they're not super strong and powerful and they don't have any flaws and they live a normal life. You know? There's a anime called Tenjo Genji.
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
But all of them have messed up backstories, but they're in a school that it's like a martial arts school that they're in. And then you find out all, this other stuff, but they're trying to every class or they get groups and then they kind of it's a school-wide fight. And you fight different teams and then you go up and it's
Tokyo Revengers, but a school. That sounds really messed up.
But I read the manga, and the anime didn't go near as long as the manga did. But
do they actually learn anything, or is it just fighting?
No, it's just a bunch of fighting.
I feel bad for their academics.
A lot of them aren't super deep characters. It's just a lot of fighting and action. Yeah, when they have the flawed characters, you can definitely relate to them more because they feel more real.
Mm-hmm.
I figure what we'll do is, since we have our top 3 favorite characters, you can do one, then I'll do one, and then back and forth. Sound good?
Mhm.
All right, who's your first character?
Levi Ackerman from Attack on Titan.
Why do you like him?
Because he's cool, but like he's cool in just a really cool way. Like some people are like cool, but it's like they're cool, but like not because of like good reasons sometimes, I don't know how to explain it. It's just cool.
And is this the costume that we're doing as well?
Yes. I mean, technically it doesn't really matter as long as I choose like the hairstyle, I guess.
Yeah, because it's all a uniform.
Yeah. So that's the only thing that really changes it.
But yeah, when that gets done, I think it's going to look pretty cool.
Might win a competition actually for one.
My first character I have is Kamina from Gurren Lagann. He's a troublemaker, and he's not the main character because he doesn't actually find the little mech that kind of starts everything.
Mhm.
He does end up getting a mech and fighting, and his character arc is really good because he goes from kind of like just the troublemaker who doesn't care, who just wants to get out from underground because they all live in like this silo thing underground, to really fighting for a cause and stepping up to it. So that was my first one there. Who you got after that?
I'm guessing duos don't count as favorite character.
No, that's going to be down
okay.
along there.
So, Shoyo Hinata from Haikyuu. Because until he found the other, like, teammates, like, he had to... Like, I'm just proud of him because when he was in middle school, there was nobody else, like, almost at all in the volleyball club, and he had to practice with, like, the girls because there was no really male volleyball club. He was the only member. And I just know his best friend was a wall. Because you can set and pass to a wall to practice. So a wall's your best friend. But I'm just like, he got so good just by doing that. And everyone else has been practicing with teams. So I feel like he just has a lot of talent,
Mm-hmm. Like, is that just kind of why he sticks out from all the other characters?
To me, yeah.
Because he seems to be the one that's all in from
Plus,
the get-go.
Yeah, he's the main character too, so, like, can't really stick out when he's the main character.
All right, my second one is kind of a cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. And mine is Spike from Cowboy Bebop. He is...
Which one's that? What's he look like?
Dark hair, wears the blue suit with the yellow shirt.
That one, yeah.
Oh, he's smoking?
Yeah.
Yeah, and because he's the coolest bounty hunter in the galaxy.
Thought it was the Mandalorian.
Possibly. But yeah, he's just one of those that, from the beginning when I started watching anime, he has always been the coolest one all the way through to the end, and he's cool. He's got a cool backstory. Not just, him and Vicious fighting it out throughout the whole time. It's something that stuck with me. So when I was trying to come up with some, even though I've watched some and I've had other characters I've seen,
You have a pen with his face on it in the office, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those I made when we at the Animanga convention. All right, who's your last one?
Sasha Blouse from Attack on Titan. Because everyone else, I just remember there's this one part that made me really like her. When they were all standing in line and she was eating a potato. And the commander comes over and says, "Why are you eating?" And she goes, "Well, it would have gotten cold and it wouldn't be good anymore." And then she goes, "Oh, I get it." And she breaks off a piece and hands it to him and says, "Do you want half?" She gave him like a quarter of the potato. And he goes, "Half?" And she just gives this like the most annoying smile she possibly could to him. And it was just great.
So, Levi or her, which one?
Why are you doing this to me?
I'm just kind of curious.
So mean. Levi.
Alrighty, well, there you go. My last one there, it's Wolfwood from Trigun. He's a guy, he dresses like a priest and he carries this huge cross.
The heck?
And then you find out that that's a big gun, the cross. So he fires, and like he's portrays himself as like this moral character, but he's kind of a womanizer. He drinks, he just kind of has fun and does whatever.
I don't think the Lord can forgive him for that. Taking being a priest and then like killing people. with a big gun. Yeah.
He was one of those characters that I just thought was really cool growing up. And even when I did the Trigon episode that I talked about, I didn't actually talk about him very much because he's not, he comes in later in the series and he's not like a huge character, but he was just one of those characters that I remember. And got those 3 characters. And do you feel like any of the characters you pointed out are like kind of other people can, would pick those as well? Or do you think they're more of a just to you?
Lots of people like Levi, especially like in the guidebook I found when people left comments about, because they did a poll and Levi won first place for the poll, so it kind of makes sense. And most of the comments that were written down there were also by other females, so probably pretty popular with the girls, I guess. And then, I mean, Hinata's the main character, but a lot of people like Kageyama, I feel like, so.
Yeah, it's kind of like with me with Cowboy Bebop picking Spike. Pretty much anyone who watches anime in their 30s is probably a fan of that. All right, moving on. Now we're going to be talking about some villains. Do you have a favorite villain?
I don't know if this counts because people say he's the villain, but I picture him as a hero. I'm not quite sure if he's the villain or not. I haven't finished the series yet. But Eren Yeager, or maybe Dobby from My Hero Academia.
Oh, so not a Dobby from Harry
No,
Potter?
not the house elf that. No, not the little rat thing. Like, he's funny. He's kind of cute in a way, but like, not him. It's not anime, so I don't think he counts.
All right, just double checking.
Double checking.
Like, I would have to say, like, the villain that I ended up liking more than the hero is Shishomaru.
The evil older brother?
Yep.
It's always the older brother. Why is it always the older brother that's evil? Naruto has his friend Sasuke, and his friend Sasuke's older brother Itachi is a mass murderer.
I like Inuyasha. He's cool, but I don't know. I just like Shishomaru. He was
I prefer Shippo. Cute little fox.
Who did you have for your villain?
Dobby.
Dobby? Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask, sorry. Like, just from being funny, what is it really about him?
I feel he has the right to be a villain. Most people are like, they shouldn't be villains, They don't have a tragic enough backstory. Well, when your father is forcing the mother to give birth to more children because he's looking for someone that has ice and fire quirks. Because one of them has ice, one of them has fire. And you weren't accepted as a child because you weren't born with both. And you were kind of like just thrown off to the side, and you ran away into a forest. And supposedly everyone thought you were dead, but then they found out that you were actually a villain hiding. So I feel like he has the right to be a villain, in my opinion. I hate his dad so much. Just punch him in the face. Get out, Endeavor.
No, that makes sense. Okay, now to go to, we've talked about heroes or our favorite characters because I guess they don't have to be a hero. But villains and now rivalries. What's your favorite rivalry?
Naruto and Sasuke. It's been going on throughout pretty much the entire series, actually. They would never really kill one another, I feel like, because they're still friends, they're teammates. But their rivalry, it's not completely just like, I hate you, but I'm not going to kill you because, we're teammates. We can't kill each other, pretty much. It's more of a, I hate you, but we're going to be kind of funny about it. Because, even in their picture of all of Team 7 together with Kakashi behind them, they're standing away from each other with really angry faces, and Sakura's just in the middle posing all cute. And that was the photo that they set in the record books of just them. It's like, I hate you so much.
I had friends that watched Naruto. I don't think I've ever watched any episode. I've seen parts when you were watching, but I haven't actually watched it. So
you have the parents' pronunciation of it. Naruto. Naruto.
Alrighty. Can you guess which mine is?
Hold on. I think it's written down, actually. Light versus L?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That would be my favorite because it literally goes on and it's like one is just, you don't know who is one step in front of the other the whole time. And, you're rooting for L because you want him to find out who it is. And, like, especially since
Was
the
Elle the one that
suspense.
does the ninja squat with his thumb in his mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the main detective, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like, he's known for cracking all these crazy cases, and they bring him in to try to find out who Kira is. Because Kira
He used
is...
to team up with Naoto from Tokyo Revengers, and they can finally solve everything. So if they did in the first place, she would still be there.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Light will be talking about things, and he thinks that L thinks that it's Light, except he can't be 100% sure, and there's things that he starts second guessing himself because Light does, and it's just like this whole back and forth throughout almost the whole show.
How many episodes are there? Like 20, 30?
20 or 30. And
25. Go with that.
That was mine, and I'm sure lots of people would agree with me on that one. It's one of those big ones. I meant that, and like Spike and Vicious is another big one. All right. Now we've got moving into something a little less heavy here, and the funniest or most relatable characters. Like, what character makes you laugh no matter what?
Luffy, because all of the Straw Hat Pirates make me laugh. They all do funny, ridiculous things in serious moments, but it's just like Luffy the most, like as him being like pretty much the main character too, because as a person I've always really liked food. Okay, like even if I'm not hungry, I'll still take food because if I'm not hungry, it doesn't matter because the food still sounds good. So him always going to every town, and like there's this part when they first got Usopp on their crew, I'm pretty sure. The town was about to be destroyed, and he's all like, hurry, we have to go get all the meat before the town is destroyed. And he's like running, trying to carry all this food because he doesn't want to leave it behind. I'm like, I would probably do the same thing, honestly.
Yep, I put down Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
Which one is he?
It's kind of hard to say he's the main character, but he's one of them that it starts off with, and he's constantly just making jokes even in like normal, like serious moments, and the show is just so bizarre. I mean,
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and there's like four diamond something. It was like some letters and numbers, and then like a diamond in the second part of the name. It was such a random name.
Yeah, he's just funny throughout the whole thing. Are there any anime characters that remind you of people you know?
Honestly, I have a friend who watches anime. His name's Andrew. I forget if that's his first name or his middle name, because his middle name's Jaden. It's Andrew Jaden. But sometimes I just call him Andrew, and I forget, is that his first name or his middle name? But he watches a lot of anime, and he reminds me a lot of, what was it? Wait a second. Shikamaru from Naruto. He's always tired. He's always like, why are we doing this? He's always like, why do I have to go do all this extra work when I could just be sitting in class, half asleep? Because, like, Shikamaru never wants to go do anything. He's always like, what a drag. This is tiring. Like, can't I just go back to sleep now? I'm fighting this so I can have my afternoon nap peacefully. And it's just, yeah. He just acts that way.
On Cowboy Bebop, there's a hacker named Ed, and pretty sure it's a girl, but they're very androgynous. Like, you can't really tell if they're a boy or a girl for the longest time because they're like a 12-year-old kid.
Fair.
And
kids, you can't tell.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure like canon, she's a girl. But anyway, she reminds me a lot of Addie. Just goofy off the wall, like making faces, just doing all that. But
Atticus grew up watching Tom and Jerry, so he's very expressional. It's like, what? And he has like the most like he has weird expressions. Because I mean, when you grow up watching an anime like that, you're gonna have those kinds of expressions. Not anime, TV show like that. He's gonna have those kind of expressions, I guess.
All right. Did you pick a best comedic duo?
Yes, I did.
Who would that be?
Shoyo Hinata and Tobio Kageyama. they may be very powerful in volleyball when playing together, but I mean, and like the breaks and stuff like that, when they actually try to communicate, it's either Kageyama being like, "Why are you being like this? Why are you bossing me around? I'm bigger than you." And because Hinata's always like, be careful, don't hurt yourself. And he's like, "I'm fine." And there's this one part that I watched recently when he starts trying to be nicer, and he tried to smile, and Hinata got so scared of his smile. He's like, "What are you planning? Are you gonna kill us?" Because his smile was just creepy, I guess. And then there's this one part after he gave a high five to the other setter, Sugawara. He puts both his hands up for a high five, and he's like, "What do you want?" "My hands are up." And he's like, "Wants a high 10." Oh. It's like, he just doesn't understand it, but that's okay.
I picked one, and I guess they're not necessarily set up as a comedic duo, but just the back and forth between them was always funny to me. And that's Naoda and Haruko
Haruko?
from Fooly Cooly.
I read that book like 3 years ago.
Just because she's crazy and he's just...
Is she the one on the Vespa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't she run him over like 5 times?
Yeah, and he's the one with the robot that comes out of his head.
Yeah.
But just...
I remember this.
Their interaction was always just fun, and I always really enjoyed that.
She's always running him over. I'm surprised he's not dead. It's just, getting ran over by like a Vespa over and over again. It hasn't killed you. I mean, watching Home Alone, the guy wasn't killed by getting hit in the head with like 3 bricks. I mean, that would have killed you. But still, plot armor.
What we're going to do real quick is we're going to take a quick ad break because we're going to come back, and we don't have a game this time, but we're just throwing a little bit of break in because we're coming back with something, changing gears again, and talking about the most tragic and heartbreaking characters. So we'll be back in just a moment.
Hey fellow anime fans, it's Dexy. If you're loving Weeb and a Half and want to help support the show, you should totally check out our Patreon. Not only will you be helping us keep the podcast going, but you'll also get some awesome perks like bonus episodes, access to the Discord, and even a shout out in an episode. Basically, you'll get more anime talk, more laughs, and maybe even more of Dad's terrible takes. Trust me, it's worth it. So if you want to join our little anime family and get some exclusive goodies, head over to patreon.com/weebandahalf and check it out. Thanks for the support, and as always, stay weeby.
All right, we are back, and we are going to be talking about the sad characters now. We've done the heroes, we've done the villains, we've done the funny, and now we're going to do the sad ones. So, what do you think is the saddest backstory in anime or manga?
Well, they all have sad backstories, Dad.
But the saddest.
Krista Lynn's, I mean, that's her fake name, but Historia Reese, I guess I should say, from Attack on Titan, because she was never meant to be born. That guy already had 5 children. She wasn't even like full royal blood, but she was, after they had all died, yes, she was technically royal blood. Her mother wished she was never born. And because of it, like, since she wasn't like full blood, I guess, her mother was killed because of it. And she was just kind of put out on there on her own, like a lot of characters are. But I think she joined like Survey Corps training when she was like 12. So that's like only a year older than me. So she's been training to be killing Titans since she was 12 years old because she had nothing else to do.
All right. So what I had as the saddest backstory is Homura Akimi from Puella Magica Madoka.
Papeli Magi Madoka Magica?
Yeah.
I've gotten used to having to repeat that over.
Because she's stuck in a time loop and all she's trying to do is save Madoka, but
wait.
she just keeps...
Which one is she? What color hair?
I don't remember.
Is it the long black hair?
I think so. She's the one, but she's stuck in a time loop and she just keeps trying to save Madoka, and Madoka just keeps dying over and over.
Literally
and over
Takemichi
again.
trying to save Hinata from Kisaki Teta.
Exactly. It's just
like,
that she just keeps trying to save it, and she just keeps watching her friend die over and over and over again.
At one point, I just give up and just kill myself too and say, hey, we can meet each other then.
What character's death affected you the most, or what was one that kind of you weren't expecting?
I am still probably always gonna be recovering from Baji. I think I can't pronounce his last name from Tokyo Revengers. So we were all expecting Draken to die, and then they killed Baji. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, that is a good one because there was that one and the one I mentioned Kamina from Gurren Lagann when he died. It was like and there are tons of them, that you're like watching, or even like with Aaron.
Yeah, I mean him being like the main character. I mean the story is not told from his perspective though. It's
Yeah,
told from Armin and Mikasa's. That's why his eye color changes throughout the series because they forgot the color of his eyes. In the beginning, it's shaded like grayish blue. At the end, his eyes are green because they forgot.
then there's the other ones that I've been watching that they had, like I recently. Well, L. That's a big one because you're not expecting that at all, and you don't. And then when you find out that Light has finally kind of figured out a way of beating him.
He was your least favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did he win?
Well, he ends up ultimately steps in.
Does he die too? Or
Who, Light?
he live?
No, that he's going to die from the very beginning because the Shinigami that he has the death note for tells him that, yeah, you can do this, but at the end of this, just know that I'm going to be writing your name in my book. And ultimately he gets bored and, well, lots of things happen. And then he's like, I told you, once I've had my fun and get bored, your name's going to be in my book.
What about the girl with the blonde hair?
She goes on to be
How can you live through that?
Well, if you give up the notebook, you forget everything that happened.
Oh.
So yeah, she kind of went on not realizing.
Just like, where am I? What is this place? In 3 years?
So why do you think suffering makes a character more beloved, or why do you like them more?
That's a great question that I don't know if I have the answer to.
I think it's like the empathy idea, to where it's like almost you feel for them. So
yeah, I mean, Tanjiro has like this very bright, happy, I'm gonna help everyone, I'm gonna save everyone personality. When in the first episode, his entire family was massacred by the king of all demons. So, don't know how he does that, but it makes me like love him. It's like, you don't have to do that, Can be sad. Smiles the entire time. I don't understand him, but still.
Yeah, it's funny that we've mentioned like all this stuff and like Dragon Ball Z doesn't pop up, or Dragon Ball doesn't pop up at all, because not a lot of them have tragic backstories. That's not for a Dragon Ball thing, but it's just funny. Out of rivalries go, Goku and Vegeta are a big one.
Oh,
but
I just thought of another good rivalry though.
Who's that? What's that?
Zoro and Sanji. Because since they are rivaling, they're always pushing each other to be better. Because they're always like, I'm gonna beat you, and they're becoming stronger when they do that too. So that's a really good one.
I mean, in the Tengo Genji, there's I forget her name, but her and her brother, that's a pretty good rivalry too. But anything else you want to add at the moment, or anything else you can think of on favorites?
I mean, I'm still sad about Rengoku. It's like, why is everyone else living? I mean, initially, you die not long after you get your mark in the show. That'll make sense if you watch it, I guess. But it's like everyone else living, and then like season like 1 or 2, it's just like in season 1 and 2, everyone like everyone's living. Like the nobody characters that are like side characters are dying, like duh. But then there was just Rengoku. And that kind of like changed. Like in the beginning, it was like, this can't be hard. We're demon slayers. And then he dies, and you're like, oh, this changed it all. Not as happy anymore.
Yeah. And in retrospect, I was thinking of other funny characters, and there's one on a Dan to Dan, which is Turbo Granny.
Is that the one with the?
Well, she gets turned into her spirit gets put into like a cat, a stuffed cat.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. This is pretty much wrapping it up for this episode, though. We've gone through a lot of our favorites, and if you have any, thing you want to add or any hot takes on our favorites, feel free to reach out to us. You can get us at
weebandahalfpodcast@gmail.com.
And you can follow us on all the major podcasting platforms. And also, if you go to patreon.com/weebandahalf and become a member, and you pick up perks there. And one of the main perks from the lowest tier is you do get access to the Discord. So get in there, and then you can start a bunch of conversations over, get some channels going on that and everything. So with that, I want to say thanks for hanging out with us. And remember, whether you're a hardcore weeb or just here for the fun, we're all family. And I have been Blake.
And I'm Dexy.
And now, stay weeby.
Yeah.